Hello, everyone, and happy Thursday. I hope everyone's having a great day. It is a chilly day here in Missouri. We were supposed to get a little bit of snow, but we didn't get any snow. It's just cold. Yeah, so I guess it's actually winter here. In case you don't know who I am, I'm Kylene. I'm with WeHeart.biz and Rise and Shine Yoga. And I'm here every week to talk about gratitude because gratitude is like our superpower. It's something we all have the ability to do. It's just a matter if we make the choice to become and are grateful for the things that we do have. Because when we are grateful, we're in a state of abundance, and then we have more to be thankful for and grateful for in our life. We start attracting more good things to us because we're paying attention to it, right? So just appreciating all the small things we have in our life, like access to um to books, to healthy food, to big things like shelter and clean air and clean water, all sorts of things. It doesn't have to be anything super fancy or anything like that. It's just all the little things, and it really can change your mindset. It brings you in that positive state. It kind of eliminates those negative feelings we might have because we start focusing on all the good things we have, right? We leave those expectations, the things that you didn't get, right? The disappointments, if you will, and we start appreciating all the things that we did get out of an experience or whatever it might be. And it's so powerful when you make that transition in your life and you start focusing on all the good things instead of all um, the things you don't have. Recently, this has come up a few times this past week, which is kind of why I wanted to talk about it today. Just we can't control the environment. We can't control the events that are happening around us. COVID is still out there. Um, Things happen in the world, right? And we can't control that, but we can control the only thing we can control is how we respond to those events. And when we really remember that and take control of that, we're empowered to really experience life in a different way, experience life in a way that gives us the outcomes that we're desiring, instead of becoming just not a victim of life. That sounds bad, but just becoming, taking life as it is instead of taking control and ownership of your life and making it what you want. And so that's why, it came up a few times this week, talking about our responses in the world and the events that happen to us. So I wanted to talk about that today, especially if you are, making your goals for the year. If you're planning out your 2022 and you're thinking about the things that you want to achieve, why don't we start with that attitude of gratitude, if you will? Start in that mind space where you're looking for all the positives and realizing the power that you have in those responses and to the events that happen to you in your life, so that can help you keep moving forward, right? So you can achieve those goals that you've set for yourself. So I've talked about this before a little bit, and I just wanted to break it down a little bit more. Um, Again, this comes from the book, The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. Here, I have it right here. And I am certified as a Canfield trainer in the Success Principles. So I wanted to spend more time talking a little bit about these, diving a little bit deeper into them, because they are so powerful. When you start to really implement them in your life, magical things happen, right? It's just because you're empowered and you're making choices that help um, give you the outcomes that you desire in your life. So the first success principle is taking 100% responsibility for your life. And that is a big concept. And it's probably, in my opinion, one of the most difficult principles to implement in your life, because it is kind of a shift. When you are taking responsibility for your life, you are giving up the blaming, the complaining, the justifying, the excuse making. You're giving all that up so you can really act as if the things that are happening in your life are a result of, you know, how you responded to those situations. So there's a formula. It's a simple formula. It's hard to implement into your life, but it is really simple. And once you just become in a habit of really pausing to reflect how you're responding to events, then you start getting those outcomes that you desire and achieving those goals and seeing life in a way that serves you and makes you excited to keep moving forward. Um, so the formula, like I said, it's a simple formula. It's E plus R equals O. So your events, so the things that are just happening in the world, it's cold outside, or like I said, unfortunately, COVID's still out there, or things like that. So those are the events, the weather, whatever it is. Those are the events. You have zero control over that. Plus R, so that's your response to those events. And then that equals your outcome. So the outcome is the things you're experiencing. What are you getting after this event happens? How has your life changed for the good or bad after that event? And so Aaron always likes to say E plus R, and then on the R you pause. So you take that moment and you think about, how do I want to respond to this, instead of just reacting and maybe not responding in a way that will serve you best to get those outcomes that you desired. Maybe in that R, that response, you pause for a moment and you reflect, and you start to become aware of how you're responding. So maybe you catch yourself in that moment of justifying, complaining, or blaming, or excuse making. Maybe you can start to learn to catch yourself at that state before you actually respond, right? You have that moment to pause and reflect. And then if you're not getting the outcome that you want, then you can learn from that and then try a different response in the future as these things come about again. And so it's a really powerful formula. And like I said, it is a simple formula. It is, um, I'm not saying it's an easy thing to implement, because I am still learning this and I'm still implementing it in my life, but I've learned a lot the last 2 years. My life is, I don't know, I feel so empowered in my life because I have been able to take control. I've really, really worked hard to give up the blaming, the complaining, the excuse making. And every now and then I still get called out on it. And that's okay, because I'm thankful for that. And we're all human, right? But when we become aware of it, it's so powerful. Let me check the comments. I didn't even realize they're popping up, so my apologies here. Hey, Edward. Too many negative opinions of myself and the products I need to get past. Yeah, guilty. Yeah, so the one thing with that is, we only, in our responses, we can control the things that we think about, and that's that self-talk, right? We have control over that. So if we're telling ourselves all these negative things, that's what we're going to start to produce, right? That's the only thing we're going to see. We're not going to see all that good stuff that you did, or all the wonderful things that we learned in that journey to get to that outcome. Maybe that's not the outcome you want, but you can start to learn from that and change that self-talk so you can believe in yourself and give yourself more momentum and confidence to keep moving forward. So I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you for sharing that. Hey, Eric. Mindfulness without judgment is hard to do. It takes practice, but something worth practicing. Well said. Yeah, it does. It's not something that you can just one day say, oh, I'm the most positive person in the world, and I appreciate everything about myself. No, I mean, that voice is there. Our brain is protecting us, right? So they keep us in that safe place. And then when that happens, that's when that voice starts coming in, those negative voices that say, maybe you should stay safe. Maybe you should, maybe you're not very good at this or whatever it might be. That's when those thoughts start creeping in, and that's what keeps us stuck, right? And so my favorite quote is, everything you want is on the other side of fear. So all those dreams that we have, all those hopes and wishes, and the life that we want and we desire is out here. Our brain keeps us safe, right? It's protecting us from that judgment, from all those things that could potentially produce that negative um, feelings. But if we just trust and embrace, acknowledge those feelings when they come up, decide how we want to respond, and then move forward. It doesn't have to be big, huge steps. It's just a little bit every day, right? And then you get that much closer to achieving your dreams and working through that fear instead of letting that fear just stop you. So awesome. And I said, you can do that, but it's hard. It's not. Ease into it. Yeah, it is. It's something that, and that's why I wanted to talk about it now, beginning of the year, especially when you're making these goals. When we make our goals, we're dreaming big, right? We're thinking about all these wonderful things we want to accomplish, and when we get ourselves in the right headspace to start the year and just become aware of how powerful our responses are in these events, because these events are going to come up. And when these events come up, it could impact our goals. And so we have to be in that headspace where we can respond in a way that will help us still get those outcomes that we desire. And if we're not getting those outcomes we desire, then we pause, reflect, get that feedback, and then choose a different response when we move forward and keep growing, because growth equals the awareness plus your choice, right? So your awareness, so you're becoming aware of how you're responding to events. Are you blaming, complaining, justifying, excuse making? Are you doing those things? Or maybe you're not doing those things, and maybe you tried one thing and it's still not giving you the result, but you learned from it. And so you are growing as a person. And I think all of us as humans, we want to continue to grow. We want to continue to um, become the best version of ourselves every year. And this simple formula, if you keep it in the back of your mind as you go through life, as you go through your goals and planning and all of that, it's so powerful. And then the whole gratitude thing comes into play here, right? Then you start to appreciate the things that you did get from those outcomes, right? And then you start to create this positive energy and momentum. And so that's why I always say gratitude's like that superpower, because we have the choice to see the good things that come from difficult situations, and we can choose to let that give us more negative feelings, or we can choose to just pull out the things that were positive from it and grow and learn and keep moving forward from it. Edward, I'm trying. I like what I've been practice making. It's not just emotional confidence. It starts in the real product. Yeah. Um, yeah, and definitely we're our biggest worst critic, right? We, especially if we want to be a perfectionist, for whatever reason, wherever that comes from for you, we can point out all those different things that we wish we could improve upon. And while that's great, because we always want to keep improving and growing, appreciate that you were able to produce what you did produce, learn from it and keep trying and moving forward. And I believe that's what you're doing. And I think that's awesome. And I'm glad that you're you're sharing your experience on this journey, because we all go through it. Um, just I've had this fear of public speaking for so long, and I've shared this before on here. It took me forever to have the confidence to come on here and to share the success principles, to talk about gratitude, to talk about all of these tools that can help us in our life. But I had to realize that you have to start somewhere, right, to keep growing, and you can just get better with time. And the more you do something, the better you get, right? That's the whole practice part. But then it comes with just believing in your overall mission, believing in what you want to accomplish out of life, and just keep moving forward. And I guess that's kind of what I wanted, why I'm here every week, is because I want everyone to live their best life. I want everyone to experience more joy, more success, all of that. And so by sharing, these little mindset tips, tools that you can implement in your life, or just this big formula. It's a simple formula, but a big formula, E plus R equals O, and how you can apply that in your life. It really can be, for lack of better words, magical, right? Because you have these tools then that you can use to get you through those tough times. Um, the thing about gratitude that I love so much is that it instantly puts you in that state of abundance. It instantly changes your energy and puts you into that um, positive energy where you start thinking about and attracting more good things to us. And we all deserve that. And it doesn't, like I said at the beginning, it doesn't have to be big things. Let's say you're making a product and it's just not coming out the way that you're wanting it to. You can take that moment and you can just look at it in negative. Oh, I wasted all this time. I can't believe that. I've wasted this blank. No, my time's so precious. I could have been doing this. You could go down that thought process. But what kind of outcome is that going to give you? It's going to give you a negative outcome. It's going to create that fear again, because maybe you'll be hesitant next time to try something new because you only saw those negative things. But you could change that whole experience and be like, okay, this is awesome. I've learned so much. I now know that maybe I tweak this time here, maybe I change this temperature here, maybe I add this paper, whatever it might be for whatever you're doing. And then you instantly are appreciating what you got instead of looking at all the negatives and the frustration and things like that. Again, I am still perfecting and working on this in my life. So I'm not here telling you that I've had this all figured out. I just know that the more we talk about it, the more we think about it, the more it becomes part of our everyday habit, if you will. And that is where the power comes in. And that's where we really can start achieving our goals and experiencing more success and more joy. And I want everyone to have that in their life because we all deserve it. And if we can start creating more positive feelings, we start sharing that then with other people, and then we start bringing more good to the world too. And I know that kind of gets a little little out there a little bit, but I truly believe that, and I think it is something we all have the ability to do. So again, the formula is E plus R equals O. So the event plus your response, that pause, that moment you pause and you reflect, you acknowledge how you're feeling. So then you respond in a way that gets you the outcome that you're desiring. And if you're not getting those outcomes that you're desiring, you go back to that response, that point of power that you have, and you reflect back. Was I blaming? Was I complaining? Was I justifying? Excuse making? Whatever it is. So then you can learn and grow and get those outcomes that you want. Because excuse making, and I'm pretty good at excuse making sometimes. I like to have a reason why something happened, right? But that excuse making actually can steal from our future. It can steal from us because you are responding and justifying in a way that response that you had, right? And then it stops you from thinking differently when you move forward. And so you're actually not growing in that moment. You've paused that whole growth period um, instead of reflecting back, appreciating and learning, and then responding differently as you move forward. But when you excuse make, you've given up all that power and you've stopped that whole process. And therefore, when that event happens again, you're just going to go through that same pattern and never continue to continue to move on and grow. So yeah, so that's what I wanted to share with you all today about 100% responsibility and how gratitude plays such a huge part into that and getting you through some of those difficult times. Gratitude can pull you out. It can really just bring those positive feelings back to you where you can get to that point of reflecting and then making different responses so you can get the outcomes that you desire. So, your call to achievement for this next week, I did write it out. Um, so, since we're in that, probably most of us are in that mindset of setting goals for 2022, and really want to get into these good habits. I think one of the most powerful things that we can do is, just starting your day and write or say or do something so you acknowledge at least three things that you're grateful for in your life. Just three. You can do more, obviously, and just start this list every day. Have three different things that you are grateful for, and by the end of the week, you'll have 21 things that you're grateful for in your life. And so then, on those tough days, those tough moments that when things just happen to you and you're just feeling a little overwhelmed or you're feeling frustrated or however you're feeling, if it's not the way that you want, you reflect back to that list and look at all these amazing things that you have in your life right now to be thankful for and to appreciate. And that gets you back into that state of mind so you can grow and learn and achieve those goals that you want. So, thank you everyone for joining today. I really, really appreciate it. If you want to talk about anything on Thankful Thursday, please reach out. Let me know. I'm open to talking about pretty much anything. And then if you ever want to join me on here, let me know. Again, just reach out. And then if you have any questions on any of these success principles or ideas or tools or anything that we share in here, please reach out. I'm happy to chat with you or email, whatever it is, so you can have that understanding that you want. If you're curious about something more or you're kind of confused about something that I said, please reach out. I love talking about this stuff. So, okay, everyone, have a wonderful Thursday, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye.